Is up, guys? It's your boy C-Beck, and today I'm going to do a video that is going to be really near and dear to my heart about Paragon. Okay, so I created a poll about 5 days ago asking the Paragon Tournaments community what they thought was the most important parts of Monolith that were being missed and how we could go about fixing this. So basically what this little video is going to be about is a Monolith overview, okay, with the update and how things kind of work now. Because a lot of us are noticing that a lot of people don't get how some of this stuff works. You cannot play Monolith like Legacy. It doesn't work like that. You don't get to just choose what type of character you want to be in, what lane you're going to be in, and any of that other fun stuff. Okay, it just doesn't work that way anymore. The game is no longer set up that way. So the top things, I picked the top 5 that we're going to cover, okay, that were voted on. First one being team comp. Okay, next is going to be roles and lane breakdown. From there, ganks and communication, ward line of sight. And I wanted to point out that there were 17 votes for bacon. You guys wanted me to cover bacon, okay? Just to give you guys an idea, so the highest item, team composition, had 64 votes. There were 17 votes for bacon. So we're going to cover bacon first. First and foremost, bacon comes from a pig. It is delicious. It is salty. It is fatty meat. It is horrible for you, but it's so damn good that I don't care. And real quick, I want to throw out there that turkey bacon is not real bacon. It's not an excuse. Eat real bacon. Okay, now that we have beaten the hell out of bacon, well, you can't really beat the hell out of bacon, but anyhow, let's roll right into team composition. All right, so team composition. So the way that I broke this down is there's different combinations that you can still do in Monolith. All right, but there's a few things that are set. Okay, ADCs, or your carry. 1. Really only 1. You don't need any more than 1. There are, like, I don't even know if this would work, but Sparrow, since she has her square ability with a little bit of lane clear, could potentially do off lane, but just don't try it. Just don't do it. Okay, you have 1 ADC, and only 1. I've never won a game on Monolith with more than 1 ADC. Okay, done. Support, 1. You can't have more than 1 support. It just doesn't work. Now, if you're running like Faye can be a great offlaner, okay, because she also has a caster, she has wave clear ability, but even though she's listed as a support, she can still get a few things done. But when I say support, I basically mean like Narbash, Decker, Muriel. Only 1 of those, and not more than 1. Again, you have too many supports, you're not going to have enough damage, you're not going to be able to get through the enemy walls. Okay, now to the ones that are a little bit different. Casters. So again, casters, we're talking about damage casters. We're talking about howitzer. We're talking about gadget. We're talking about... Sorry, I had to get a drink there. We're talking about Gideons. We're talking about Countess. We're talking about those. We're talking about straight up casters. Well, technically Countess is an assassin, but yeah, whatever. Countess can mid lane and she can off lane in this game. I've even seen some people run her as carry. If you're putting out enough damage with the right build, it can work, but... So for caster, between 1 and 2. So guaranteed you have to have 1. You just have to. Okay, you've got to have somebody running that mid lane. Alright, but you can't have 2, again, like I said, for the off lane. Preferably an ADC in that right lane with a support. Fighters. Okay, fighters you want 1 to 2. And that's going to depend on what you're going to run in the jungle. Alright, so fighter, traditionally, if you're going to follow this basic setup, you know, you'll have 1 off lane such as Greystone. Greystone is a great offlaner. Kwong is a great offlaner. Those kind of guys. All right. And then you usually throw 1 more laner, or I'm sorry, 1 more fighter in the jungle. Now some of the tanks can jungle, like Richter. Richter's got good AoE to clear out some jungle. Sevarog is a good jungler. Okay, stuff like that. But we're talking about just straight up fighters right now, not tanks. So that's your basic setup right now. And those are the main fighters in the game. Feng Mao, I've seen some people using Feng Mao. I've gotten mixed reviews. Some people are really successful with him, others just are not. Maybe his kit needs a little bit of rework with Monolith to make him a little bit more prominent again, which I would like to see. I do like Feng Mao. Okay, so now on to tanks. Alright, so tanks, again, you're going to have 1 to 2, depending on if you're going to run one in the jungle. So tank, if you're not running a support, okay, in that right lane with your ADC, then you want a tank. You want a Richter. You want a Steel. You could do Sevarog, something like that. Somebody that can take damage and get fights initiated, or at least when the fight does get initiated, jump in front there, get a little bit of crowd control, okay, absorb some hits so that your ADC can pump out some damage. All right. And then again, like I said, if you're going to run a tank in the jungle, traditionally your better tank junglers are going to be Richter and Sevarog. Sevarog being the best. He's an absolute beast right now in the jungle, okay, with his AoE and Siphon abilities. All right. So that really covers the team composition. Like I said, there's a couple different ways that you can do it. But honestly, you know, they're near the end of Legacy. Whenever minions were OP beyond OP, a lot of teams were running 3-caster. You really cannot run 3-caster right now, Monolith. I mean, you can, okay, but the majority of time you're not going to be as successful. Just plain and simple. You're just not going to be as successful. And for some of the pro guys that are listening to this, you know what? If some of you guys have figured out some tips, tricks, or different team compositions that work really well, please feel free to share. But this is more to cover the basics of Monolith. Okay. All right. So now lane and role breakdowns. Okay. So we've got 5 roles. Okay. So you've got your offlaner, your mid lane, your carry, your support, and your jungler. We kind of already talked about that, but I'm going to go in depth now. So your off lane. Off lane is left lane. Okay. Left lane sucks. All right. Some people can do it really well. It's really freaking hard because you're traditionally pushing against an ADC and a support and or tank. That sucks. 1 against 2. Okay. So for your off laner, you want someone that's sturdy and or wave clear. Your main job really is just to prolong the loss of that tier 1 tower. Okay, is the way that I see it. You're never really going to be able to push against those two, even with great freaking rotations from your jungler and assists. It's beyond difficult to push that lane because of how long it is for you. It's just the long and simple of it, man. That's just the way it is. A lot of the heroes that I see having the most success in off lane are, like I said, your Greystones, your Kwongs, sometimes a caster if you want to run a dual caster, just with the AoE abilities and clearing out minion waves so that the heroes can't get in under tower. But like I said, you are prolonging. So traditionally, with an offlaner, if you're running like a melee, like those Kwong or Greystones, they're going to get into your tower. Plain and simple. They're going to get into it. The thing that you want to do is you want to make it so they don't get into it as often as time goes on. So the first 3 to 5 minutes, those minions and those enemy heroes are not going to do that much freaking damage to your tower. Prolong it out. Then once you get to the steady point, you know, you try and get your farm up, right? But then eventually they are going to take that tower. Unless you were just like a beast Greystone. Okay, they're going to get that tower. All right, that's just kind of the cold hard truth of it. If you can hold it, dude, kudos, because that's going to be a huge help for your team. However, I have heard some people say in the higher tier of play that they almost like to lose that tower earlier because that means that they can rotate. They're more free to rotate. They're more free to farm at a safe range near their tower instead of the enemy proximity to their tower. All right, so there's a couple different ways to look at it. Mid lane, so wave clear, caster. Pretty much mid lane's always a caster. You could technically run Greystone in mid lane. He's got some wave clear. All right, but you just want a caster. That's just really the way it sets right now, especially with the range, the ability range of casters being able to snipe freaking ADCs, which I think is probably going to get changed. We'll see. You just want a caster in there. Okay, so your ADC, or your carry, I'm sorry. So you want traditionally an ADC or at least a high damage character. Again, I've seen some Countesses run in there. I've seen some of the higher tier guys in some of the recent tournaments run Howitzer as their carry. As long as you have a high damage output, okay, you really, if you're doing that character, you really want to build them glass cannon at first, okay, to get as much damage as possible out there and as many last hits as possible, as quickly as possible. Also, you are controlling that gold buff on your lane. If the offlaner gets that gold buff against 2 people, I'm willing to say you're doing something wrong, unless you just had an amazing rotation from the enemy jungler. All right, control that gold buff. That gold buff traditionally belongs to your ADC, so that way they get more boost from last hits. Okay, so second in that carry lane is your support. Okay, your whole job, whether you're running a Muriel, Decker, a Narbash, a freaking Steel, a Sevarog, a Richter, whatever it is, your job is to protect your damage character. your carry, whoever your ADC or high damage output character is. Your job is to freaking protect them. You have no other job. You don't take last hits. The only hitting of minions you should do is to weaken them so that your carry can kill them, okay, and get the last hit on them. You tank, and then you attempt to help your ADC initiate team battles, such as if you're Richter to land a good pull, but you need to coordinate that, okay? It's also very important that those two are in comms. It's not 100% necessary, but you're going to have a heck of a lot better response if both are in comms, okay? And make sure you got wards over there too, because if your support kind of wiggles off a little bit, that ADCs are just jungle food. That's all they are. They're jungler food. They get a good rotation, hop on the ADC, he's gone. I do it all the time. Okay, your final role, your fifth role is your jungler, okay? Junglers have a couple of jobs, okay? First of all, you need sustain. You need to be able to sustain. And the reason I say you need to be able to sustain is because if your ADC gets racked, or your mid laner gets racked, or your off laner gets racked, you need to be able to rotate and hold that lane for a minute, minute and a half, so that they can freaking back, spend their card points, and get back up there, okay? So sustain, rotate, assisting. So if they're getting a lot of pressure in the off lane, you know, before you can level up and get a decent fight going, you need to assist them. That first tower should not be gone in the first 5 minutes. If it's gone in the first 7, stuff happens, okay? But you want to try and prolong that. So try and get that gank on the enemy ADC, okay? And again, holding those lanes to allow those guys to back. So if you see them hurt, or you know what, if you know it's been a while, or somebody tells you, hey man, I got 8 card points, dude, I need to get back and spend so that I can freaking do some damage. Okay, cool, get your butt over there, okay, and hold the lane for them for a minute to a minute and a half, sometimes even 30 seconds depending on how fast they are, just so that they can freaking get their card points spent, heal up, regen their mana, and get back out there, okay? And finally, your job is to fill that freaking link. The best way to fill the link: kill jungle minions, kill lots of them, kill them quickly, and then you got to protect your link as well, okay? I am going to circle back one thing for mid lane. Mid lane, very important. Control the river buffs. If your jungler can get them, all right, get them. Obviously, depending on what the buff is. Okay, Gadget doesn't really get a whole heck of a lot of help from the Shadow Plane buff, from the pink buff, or purple, or whatever the hell color it is. Okay, but they do get a lot of boost from the red buff, sometimes the blue buff. Black buff can kind of go multiple different ways, all right? But try and control those river buffs, because those things are huge. They take very few hits to kill, okay? And they're really powerful for the short time that they're in there, all right? So, moving on, ganks and communication. So like I said, your job is your jungler. You got to get some ganks in there. At least you got to try. So, communication. Offlaner, you're getting pegged. Or, hey, you work that enemy ADC down to half or below health, and they're not backing yet. Call for your jungler. Even if you don't have comms, use your in-game comms. Attack left. Something like that. Defend right. Defend middle if you got to go back. Be right back and defend middle. Use your communication so you guys can get those things in there, okay? But ganking communication is huge. If you see that jungler coming into your lane and you're not in voice comms, watch their patterns. Watch how they're running. If he goes straight for that ADC, dude, push in. Distract that ADC so that your jungler can get on him, okay? And get a solid kill, because all that's going to do is help you. Yeah, your jungler may get the kill. That's fine. It helps your lane because now you can farm a lot more safely, okay? I really think that's all I have to cover on that. Just communicate with ganks, okay? And communication in general. You guys have got to communicate. If you back, let somebody know you're backing. Drop a be right back. L1 square X. It's that simple. It's really that simple, guys. It's not that hard. Or whatever the combination is for PC. But again, it's the in-game comms, left and then bottom. Done. Okay? The next piece, ward line of sight. Alright, so wards are a lot different in Monolith than they were in Legacy, okay? A ward used to be, whenever you dropped a ward, whatever was in that range, dude, you could see everything. You could see through walls, you could see through trees, you had x-ray vision, it was amazing. Not anymore. Okay, so now you actually have to be smart with your ward placement. Okay, so if you're mid lane and you drop a ward on the inside of those fog walls from the mid lane, you are not going to have any early warning system of a ganker coming up. You're just not. You're not going to know anything. Okay. The big trick here is to place the wards on the far side of the fog wall closest to you, so that way you see those enemies coming. And that's in whatever lane you're in, whether you're off lane, right lane, mid lane, anything. place those wards on the far side away from you of the fog wall so that you can see guys coming through before they ever get through the fog wall. Traditionally, by the time they get through the fog wall, you're probably going to die, especially if it's a Chimera. You're probably going to die unless you're right under tower. Okay? Again, I really think that kind of beats a dead horse. The other main thing that you want to focus on with wards is not only do you have to place wards, you have to de-ward, guys. Okay? Throwing down a ward is not good enough a lot of times. Throw down a ward. If you see an enemy ward, kill it. If you have the ability, it's safe to do so. Kill it, or at least try and set it up to where you can kill it soon thereafter. Okay? It's imperative that you run wards. It's imperative that you de-ward, and it's imperative that you put wards on the far side away from you of those fog walls. Okay? So guys, that covers all of the content that was voted on, the top 5 highest votes. I really appreciate everybody getting involved in this poll. We had a lot of people get involved, a lot of good conversations going through. And you know what? Some people are going to watch this video and say, hey, I already know all that shit. Some people are going to watch this video and go, dude, I didn't know half of that. Some people are going to watch and go, they didn't know any of it. But honestly, I had to make this video because I've gotten put together with some people that don't understand the map yet and how it works, or that want to try things. I will strongly urge that if you want to try things, try them first in bot games, make sure that they work, okay, and then run it in PvP. All right, you know, we're all here to have fun. We're all here to have a good time. All right, and then some of us here are really into the competitive scene. Some of the people here really care about their elo. Okay, and whenever you lose every game or every other game because you don't always have the ability to 5-stack, and you get one teammate on your team that either doesn't jive well or doesn't know the map or anything like that, it can be disheartening, and a lot of people don't have fun anymore. Okay, so the main focus of this video is for people to try and have fun. All right, now this video just hit 17 minutes long, so I'm gonna wrap it up from here. You guys are probably tired of me jabbering. I'm tired of jabbering, but I hope everybody got something out of this video. Please share it, distribute it, get it out there, push it to your friends. Use this video to help your buddies that are just starting in Paragon, or that haven't played a lot on Monolith yet, or that just need a little help or an extra hand or anything along those lines. Remember, guys, teach those that don't know, all right, and we can all have a better time. Toxicity doesn't help anything. Calling somebody a dumbass doesn't help anything. Help these people out. The more we help them out, the better all of our solo queue or dual, triple, or quad queues are going to be. Okay, and the more fun we can all have. Alright, guys, I appreciate all your time. Almost at 18 minutes. So before it hits that 18-minute mark, this is your boy C-Beck. We out. Peace.